let's go over to the Nintendo sales, because we had a massive dump of information for Nintendo with their systems. The Switch is the big one. The regular Switch, not the Switch Lite, regular Switch. The Switch it's rolling. We talked about this before, didn't we? We were trying to figure out if it would actually pass the Wii. We did that, I think, last report, and a lot of us were pretty sure it would. 6.85 million Switch units in this past quarter. That quarter would be July, August, and September. So that does also include the Mario 3D All-Stars sales, and it also includes Paper Mario, which Paper Mario did all right for being Paper Mario. It wasn't bad, especially with how polarizing it was, although that never really turns into bad sales anyway. We saw it happen with Pokemon. But it is now at 68.3 million units, which means it is it's getting there. I mean, it's 7.5 million away from the 3DS now.
Yeah, so 3DS is at 74 million, 75 million.
Yep, and they're looking to sell another 11.5 million units by the end of March. Switch systems. So that would, at that time, place it at just about 80 million. So any thoughts on Nintendo sales so far? It looks like Animal Crossing is also going to be passing Mario Kart. It could happen this holiday, and honestly, by the time Animal Crossing is a year old, it might be over 30 million units already. So it might sell 30 million copies in just over a year.
Did you hear they're doing that bundle once again for Mario Kart?
Yeah, I saw that. So that's probably going to boost sales for it.
Yeah, they're doing that same crusty bundle.
But dude, Animal Crossing at the end of September, 26 million pieces already.
Yeah, that's
that is
impressive.
Wild.
It keeps sneaking up on me. I feel like, as somebody who doesn't look at the numbers, I play my Switch a lot. I was drunkenly playing it last night. I was doing the what is it called, Clubhouse games. Me and my friends were doing darts and Clubhouse games last night.
That's fun.
So fun, and it's one of those things where I feel like I just play my Switch and I forget. And every time they do one of these big meetings and say they've sold another like 20 million Switches, I feel like it just blows my mind. Like I think it's going to pass Wii. I feel like it's definitely going to pass Wii.
Okay, yeah, because the Wii sits at 101 million units right now, and after the Wii, you start getting into the territory of the PS4. So now, you know what? That's the new question. That's the new question now, because the Wii, it's going to happen. The Wii might happen next holiday. Like we might be talking about leading into next holiday, 2021. Oh, is this the Switch about to pass the Wii?
They revised the forecast to 24.
Yeah, so 80 million basically at the end of next March.
Yeah, and then next year, you're gonna have like probably Zelda, you have Monster Hunter, you're gonna have like a number of different games, so that's gonna be another big year for them.
It sounds like next year is gonna be like another 2017 essentially, where they just have big like hitter after hitter getting lined up, just because development's had time to restart and be ready for releases and all of this. I've had games internally pushed. 2021 looks to be the big year for them, but if they also have a Switch revision, like a lot of people are anticipating in the first half of this year coming up.
Wait, didn't Nate say something about that?
Oh, Nate completely expects it. Nate, you think there's going to be a TV
Nate,
model?
talk about that real
Although
quick,
I remember talking about this. I remember talking about this TV model like 3 years ago, and people said I was crazy. That's all I'm going to say. Go ahead.
I want to hear Nate and MVG since they do a podcast that you guys, a great podcast.
I mean, it's not the MVG show; it's the Nate the Hate show.
But you're on there. You guys talk about stuff behind the scenes, so I know you have that information, MVG. So I mean, what do you guys want to talk? I'm pretty sure people are interested in that. Nate, you want to say anything, or is there anything you can say?
What's the question?
Oh, we were just talking about the Switch next year getting to about 80, according to Nintendo, getting to about 80 million is their forecast by the end of March. So that'll end their fiscal year. That's their current forecast.
Potential new hardware.
We were mentioning, okay, we're kind of done talking about if it's going to pass the Wii. That seems obvious now. But then we're talking about, okay, what about the PS4? Well, what if they have some sort of revision like we're all expecting in the first half of next year to really get whenever a different color for the Switch Lite comes up, they probably see a spike in sales. But we're talking about a revision. You would expect a fairly large jump at that point. People rebuying the Switch, basically. People who have a Switch buying it again, kind of
all
thing.
of us.
But that TV model that I did bring up 3 years ago, by the way, coming out would possibly be another way to get more of them out there if it's like $150.
It depends on the revision's nature. I mean, a TV model is not going to sell millions upon millions of units. It's a pretty niche device. It would sell it's going to sell a few million units, but it's not going to be something that would propel sales of the hardware to new heights. And right now, the Switch is outpacing the PS4 launch aligned by 5 million units, and we're just about to enter the holidays. So the Switch lead over the PS4 should increase. But the revisions for 2021, it depends on the timing of the release and the nature of the revision itself. If it is a TV type of revision, it's not going to spark huge sales. If it is still a hybrid version in tandem with a TV model, then you could see a hardware spike in terms of sales. But the deeper you get into a hardware generation, as many big software hitters as you will have, you will eventually hit a ceiling and you're not going to sell tons of hardware. Like, it's really a matter of, is this the Switch's peak year? Or is next year the peak year? I mean, Nintendo revised their forecast. They're expecting 24 million Switch sales this fiscal year. That is DS type numbers.
That's DS and Wii, basically. I think that's the best. I think the best year the Wii had, I think, was like 24 million.
So if we are saying maybe by early 2022, the Switch will pass the Wii, we're looking at another 21 million fiscal year. That's a very strong year in terms of hardware sales. It's not impossible. But, I don't know if Nintendo's going to come out that aggressive next year with such a forecast. They probably still come in about 18, 19 million. Because the big thing of this year is how much was the Switch sales accelerated due to COVID. People were at home during quarantine earlier this year. They bought a new console. A lot of people bought a Switch. They bought Animal Crossing with it. Did that speed up adoption to this platform?
It had to have, because their software, if you kind of align it next to the hardware, is significantly more than the 3DS right now. 456 million pieces of hard or software versus 20 or 68 million pieces of hardware that they've sold for the Switch. 385 million units of software for the 3DS versus 75 million units of hardware. You could tell more people on the Switch are buying more games per Switch.
Yeah, so there's a lot of factors and variables that we simply don't have, answers to right now. But I mean, next year should be an incredibly strong year for Nintendo and the Switch. We are anticipating a revision from Nintendo. We've had plenty of the reports and everything out there. It's a question of, when do they release it? Is it the first half of the year? Is it second half? We really don't know. None of the information that's come out of Japan, any of the rumors from Bloomberg, none of them really give a good time frame. The biggest clue that anyone could really use at this point is either it's going to release alongside maybe Breath of the Wild 2, which would be second half, or the fact that there is no Switch hardware bundle with Monster Hunter Rise, and Nintendo likes to position new hardware with a Monster Hunter game. Maybe we're looking at late March, but it's really anyone's guess right now as to when the potential revision hits next year, and simply don't know. I mean, if I'm Nintendo, I know I'm going to have a strong holiday. We just upped our forecast for the fiscal year. I'm not announcing new hardware for this fiscal year until as late as I can. I want to sell the units I have right now.
It would have to be like a month before, and they do that. They'll be like if let's say it comes out in April, they'll announce it in March. Be like, oh yeah, there's a new Switch revision coming out.
Yeah, it'd just be this really quick thing of, here it is, boom. And the less time they have between announcing it and the release, we can kind of gauge what type of upgrade it would be. I know you have people out there already speculating, saying it's a next-gen upgrade. It's not a next-gen upgrade. This isn't the Switch 2. That would require development kits to be out, 12 to 18 months in advance. And that's simply not the case here. We're talking about a revision potentially coming out in the first half of 2021, which would mean dev kits would already have to be in hand, and that is not the case. There's been no rumor of anyone having a dev kit for this. The only information was a rumor on Twitter where they were saying Nintendo briefed some developers to say, leave the option of, have your resolution and stuff to be increased. I
wonder if they could do even a dual release with one of the little TV ones, and then they could also do their revision. Because remember, they did the Switch Lite, but then they also did the Switch revision as well.
Nate, let me tell you something, Brett. Nate, let me tell you something. I got my Polaris dev kit right here. All right, man. Maybe you don't got yours.
Polaris.
All right, how about this?
Okay.
Let me ask you this then.
48 gigabytes of RAM.
Before we move over to the
rent is Toy Story 3.
before we move over to the PS5 reviews, let me ask you this: do you think the Switch will be Nintendo's first system to hit 1 billion units of software?
1 billion? I mean, we're not even halfway
456
there yet. So
456 million units software right now. Yeah, but that
Jesus.
generally software continues to climb at exponentially because more and more Switches get out there, and you get Breath of the Wild 2, you get another Mario, you get another Pokemon.
the reason I'd say no is when you look at the Wii sales, you had a lot of third-party games like the Guitar Hero selling 20 million units, and we don't have that really replicating on the Switch. And one of the big factors is when they do the software, I believe when they do the numbers, if it's a digital-only game, that's not part of that figure. So you could actually have a digital-only indie game, like I'll use Hades as an example, that could have sold 10 million units, and that's not part of that 450 million figure.
Okay.
So
yeah, because they haven't.
Sales, it's not a good comparison because the Wii had so many.
Well,
games.
the Wii didn't even get there. The Wii was at 921 million.
Yeah, and look at some of those third-party games that were selling 20 million, like Carnival games.
Yeah,
that was over 15 minutes. Just Dance, those were all like
the DS. The DS didn't even get there.
Yeah, billion. I think the Switch would fall short of $1 billion.
Well, at least the Wii U got above 100 million.
That's
question.
Probably more impressive.
I have a question for you guys. So Mario Kart just continues to sell. Like it's probably the most evergreen title that Nintendo's brought out.
28.99 million units.
It's the last Mario Kart, right?
Yep.
So do you think they're going to make another Mario Kart game considering it's just...
What do you think, OJ?
Because I know
I made it. I talked about this.
Maybe Mario Kart 9 was coming out next year. We all kind of think that next year will be a big year for Nintendo, and I think that is accurate. But do you guys really think that there's a new Mario Kart game for this generation?
Yeah, I personally think that there's a new Mario Kart game. The reason why is because at this point, they talked about it. I think it was Iwata asked. I know that there was an interview where they said that they start working on it as soon as the current one is done. So the last current one being done was 2014. So there's some form of a Mario Kart 9 game. Whether it's all completed or what they're going to do or when they're going to release it, I personally feel that it's there. But they're probably waiting for that install base. That's what I would guess. Like that install base to get to a crazy amount. And when they release it, it can legitimately sell like 20 million in like the first month or whatever.
What if the big gimmick for the new Mario Kart is that it's like 100-person battle royale mode?
Oh God!
Go ahead, Max.
that is actually sort of what my question was going to be. Is what they can do that's new? Because the major thing that I liked about Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is the fact that it has like 64 normal tracks and 6 battle tracks. Like 70 tracks is insane total. So I feel like with Mario Kart 9, I guess my thing is, like, what the hell can they... Maybe it will be a battle royale race, like what they did with Mario 35 or something, where it's like last person on track wins. Like, I don't know. I'm curious to see it. Obviously, we're all going to buy it. But I guess at this point, I can't even imagine what the hell it's going to be.
Well, don't they do Mario Kart every generation? A new Mario Kart every gen.
They always have a new gimmick or like hook thing. Like it's like since
Soundbox
the original,
or whatever.
Yeah, like it was anti-gravity with Mario Kart 8.
Oh yeah,
Before it was like hang gliders, Mario Kart 7 and underwater. They always have double dash. They always have something. Mario Kart Wii was like motorbikes and like, or not motorbikes. Was motorcycles and like online play. That was like the big thing for that. So they always have some type of new hook for each Mario Kart game. So I'm guessing it's just gonna go like with some type of gimmick, whether it's an amazing gimmick or not. They always have something that they do that's kind of different. So we'll see for this one.
What if they just take the Smash Brothers roster and use them as Mario Kart?
Yeah. What if Mario Kart just turns into Smash basically, and they bring in all these outside characters, and it's like this whole thing?
I would be so down. We've talked about this so many times on my channel.
Ago, talked about it on here as well.
I would be so down for them to just say like, yo, we have all the past tracks, like every single past track, every single past character. And it's just like all there because there's so many tracks that we don't get, right? There's still a number of tracks. It has a lot of tracks. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe especially made a lot of cool improvements. Like they made it to where you have 2 items instead of 1 item. That's a big deal, like when you're racing. They made it, the online is definitely improved from what they had before. The battle mode is improved from what they had. So with this one, I mean, I would love for them to say like, yo, all these past tracks that you guys all love, it's all in there. And like they kind of gimmick it around there. And like a Diddy Kong Racing type of single player, like that would be awesome.
Well, let me ask Jordan real quick before we move on. What's the word for the next Pokemon game then? Because that's going to be big focus for him too, to work through the back half of the Switch.
I mean, it's kind of all up in the air right now. They have multiple directions they're going in. Obviously, this year they really skipped making a mainline game and instead focused on doing the DLC.
Mhm.
So it's either next year we're going to get a form of remakes, or they may switch focus and try to do something again with Let's Go.
Oh, let's go gold and silver.
Right. So it's either in a way we're either going to get some form of remake. We're either going to get a gold and silver remake or a diamond and pearl remake. I think is the direction we're going in. We're not
going with a diamond
Gen
and pearl
9 or anything right away.
Either one's great. Gold and silver. Or diamond
I'll
and
take
pearl,
either. I'd rather.
Either one.
I don't
great.
love the Let's Go format. I like to battle the Pokemon, not just catch them.
Yeah.
I would really like. It's about time we get the Diamond and Pearl remake. It's been over.
That would be pretty
a decade.
cool.
It's been quite a while. So
I agree with you, Jordan. I wouldn't want like Diamond and Pearl. Diamond and Pearl is such a legendary game for when it released, right? Because it was like, okay, this is the first one online. There was like the global trading station. There was just crazy amounts of like just completely revolutionized.
Brought a lot of people back into it who like took a break.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It got me back into it because I took
the
a
DS
break.
was set up perfectly for it too.
I took a break. I wasn't into Omega, Ruby and Sapphire. I didn't get it. Like I played Fire Red and Leaf Green, but I wasn't really into that one. So I got back into it when I saw that there's online trading and all that. So if they Let's Go that, I mean, like that would be a little. I don't know. I don't know how I'd feel. I don't know if I'd feel about that, but we'll see, I guess.